Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing some Tekton tools that I got. I got several different ones, so I'm going to split this up into more than one video, so be on the lookout for the next ones. Today we're going to get started with the long reach Tekton ratcheting wrenches. I wanted these because of their long size and the fact that both ends are ratcheting, and ever since I got my regular Tekton ratcheting wrenches, I've loved them, so I got these long ones. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it, so let's get started. All right, so we're over here at the toolbox. I'm going to start with these Tekton extended or long ratcheting wrenches. So I have my metric set up in this drawer. I'm sorry that the light's kind of reflecting off of the wrenches, but this is we can take it over to the table, but I just wanted to show it to you in the toolbox. This isn't a super big toolbox, this Milwaukee one, but these, just want to kind of show you these wrenches here as how they look in the box. The Metric is a 6-piece set, whereas the SAE or standard is a 4-piece set. So the range is a little bit more, the sizing range is a little bit more on the Metric set, but that's just the way it is, I guess. There's not a whole lot of options out there for these long ones, so you know, it is what it is. I guess while I'm in here, what I can do is show you the comparison. So if you were to take like a regular 18 or 19 millimeter, they're pretty close in size, but you can see the difference. So you get like an extra 4-ish inches on each side. Let me grab my tape measure here. The regular Tekton ratcheting wrenches come out at about 9¼ inches, whereas these long Tekton ones, the full-size ones, come out at a little over 16. So it looks like about 16 1/8. This is for the longest one. If I take out the regular 19, it's just going to be a little bit longer than the 18. It's about a little bit less than 9 3/4. So, so you have 9 3/4 all the way down to, let's see, this kit goes down to 8. So 8 millimeter here is 5 3/8. So 5 to about 9 inches, whereas this long reach kit goes from about 9 1/4 all the way up to the 16, a little over 16, like I said. So I'm going to do the Metric and the standard review both in one. I ordered them both together. That's typically, you know, I need both. Some people may just need Metric, some people may need standard, but I need both. The various things that I work on, sometimes they're Metric, sometimes they're standard. So I do like the Metric set more because it does pretty much cover exactly what their full kit does. So like this goes from 8 to 19, the regular Tekton ratcheting wrenches, and this long reach set, where, I mean, this is only ratcheting versus like a combination, but with the Metric, it goes from 8 millimeter to 19 millimeter, whereas the standard only goes from 5/16 up to 3/4. So where their regular set goes from 1/4 up to what does it go up to? It goes up to 1 inch. So you get, how many is in here? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So 13 here, 13 sizes versus 8 sizes here. And so it's not it doesn't encompass as many sizes, but it does cover the most general range of sizes that you'd probably need So I've been happy with them so far. I was using them on a project this past week, and they did great. There are some pros and cons, so I'm going to take these over to the table and we'll get started there. All right, so we're over here at the table. The lighting should be a little bit better. This is both sets, the standard and metric. So let's start with some pros, and then we'll go into some cons. So the pros for these are you need less space. So if you don't really need, most of the time, if you don't need an open end wrench, these would be maybe a good option for you. I mean, I'd probably suggest you have it both, but if you needed like a set for this, having ratcheting ends on both sides is a plus for me. I wanted that, and typically that's the only way you can get super long wrenches like this. They'll be, like double boxed end or whatever you want to call it. I think they sell, some companies sell these that are not ratcheting. They're just, long boxed end wrenches. But these are the ratcheting ones. The wrenches, they work well, the ratcheting feature works well, and having the extended reach to be able to have your hand all the way out here and get into a tight area of a car, of a piece of equipment or whatever is a benefit, because sometimes, when you're using a regular wrench that only covers 9 inches, you're sitting here and you're holding it on the very end doing this motion, because you can't get your whole hand on it. So you don't have as much torque to break it loose or tighten it real tight. Just a couple of different things, but these are definitely a good set. They are cheaper than some of the other sets I was looking at. I was looking at various sets to kind of see if there was something out there that was better, more options or whatever. But these two, the Tekton ones, were probably one of the more comprehensive sets. Now, I'm not comparing these to like a Snap-on or a Matco or something like that. A set like this from Snap-on or Matco would probably be in the hundreds of dollars a piece. So that's not really a comparison, but Amazon had some different manufacturers that they were selling. Tekton was on there as well, but they had some other ones, I think Orion Tools and stuff like that, but they were more expensive, and they didn't have as many sizes. They probably had the same for the standard, but the metric, they just didn't have as many. Having this full set for metric is actually quite nice, but you do pay more for the metric than you do for the standard. So I guess another benefit I could say is the fact that these ends here, they flex. For me, that's kind of like a plus and a negative. I'm not a huge fan of flexing. I don't even like my ratchets that flex at the end. The problem is usually they're a little too loose. And so with that being said, let's get into the cons. So some cons for these are probably the price. If you don't need this style of wrench, you can save some money by not buying them, but they are a good addition if you do have some money to spare for these. This standard set was around 95. I'll put it up on the screen for 100% accuracy. And then I know that the metric set was about 130. So again, both of those will be on the screen for the pricing, but they're quite pricey for what they are. I get that they, not that many manufacturers sell them, so that's why Tekton can have them priced so high, but I mean, it was a lot of money for these two sets. So if you don't absolutely need it, then I'll leave that up to you, whether you want to get them or not. Well, let's start with the next thing. The flex heads, like I was saying, are a good and a bad. The worst part about it is the fact that, you know, they come with little Torx screws here that you can tighten, and I went through and tightened all of these up as tight as I could go without maybe breaking or stripping the screw, but they did just screws to the other end. And so the head flops a lot. So if you were to put this in a space and you're trying to get it on a nut or a bolt or something like that, you know, say you needed to have it in there, like say you needed to have it in the space like this, and you're trying to press it onto the nut or bolt, and you know, when you're deep into a space, you can't exactly turn this, you know, you have to pull it all the way out and adjust this to get it to line up perfectly, because if you push too hard, every time you push, you're just going to be angling it more, and you may not have the room, so you might have to pull it back out, pull it straight, and then go in and try it again. So I have some issues with that. The fact that it's not as stiff as I would like. Some of these are, you know, kind of stiff. So, you know, this little small one here is pretty good for stiffness. I mean, I can push on it pretty hard before it moves. So, I mean, like, this is me tapping it pretty good versus like if I take this, and they're all different too. So this is one here. This side here is super stiff, like, you know, super stiff for this. Goes real easy one way and not the other way because I tightened it up. But this side right here, you know, if I do the same tapping motion, I'm tapping this exactly like I was this other wrench. It just keeps going on over. So the same kind of tap for here, you know, I like it to be that tight. That way, once I get it in there, I can twist it around. And if I need to angle it more, I just push on it. So that would be a con for me. And then I would say the price is a little bit of a con. Like I said, you're looking to spend over 200 bucks for both of these wrench sets. Now, compared to somebody that's used to buying Snap-on or Matco or something like that, maybe this isn't as big of a deal for you. But it's really hard to justify that kind of money if you don't plan on using them or you don't really need them. So those are my thoughts. I do like them. I'm going to keep these, and I'm going to see if there's anything I can do about the flex heads, you know, maybe stiffen them up somehow or something like that. But it's kind of one of those things where you kind of just have to deal with it a little bit. I don't know if any other manufacturer is going to be any different, really. I think that's going to be it for this video. I do like these Tekton wrenches. If you have any experience with them, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, maybe something I didn't answer, leave a comment below. I'm going to have more Tekton videos coming out from a shipment of Tekton tools I got in. I've been wanting these certain tools, so I went ahead and ordered a shipment, and I'm going to be reviewing those in future videos. So keep an eye out for those, and thanks for watching.